watch out for me.
And yes! The Lumberjacks have done it! This is going to be the biggest win in program history. They slay Goliath.
An unbelievable night last night. Duke losing to Stephen F. Austin, snapping a 150-game winning streak in non-conference home games. You're seeing pictures of St. John's winning there in February of 2000. That was the last time it happened. Here's how it happened last night. Duke, a 27.5-point favorite at Westgate, falling to Stephen F. Austin. It's the largest college basketball betting upset in the last 15 years. It's the second one this month because Evansville beat number one Kentucky 2 weeks ago. So the number one team has now fallen 3 times this season, the most ever, by the end of November. So we'll see what wildness awaits us today. Wall-to-wall college basketball on ESPN starting in the Bahamas, the battle for Atlantis. Noon Eastern, Michigan takes on Iowa State, followed by 6th-ranked North Carolina facing Alabama. And then at 5 p.m. Eastern, 4th-ranked Kansas taking on Dayton in the Maui Invitational Championship game. All 3 games are on ESPN and the ESPN app. Back to the NFL. Stop me if you've heard this before, but the Cowboys haven't beaten a team with a winning record. And their opponent on Thanksgiving tomorrow, the Buffalo Bills, enter at 8-3 on the strength of their defense. Here's what Jason Garrett had to say about that yesterday.
Just really good. Got a lot of really good defensive linemen. Not only the front guys, but the backups. When they rotate in, they got 6, 7, 8 guys they play, and they're all really good against the run. They're really good pass rushers, linebackers, active playmakers, back-end guys, really good cover guys, really good ball guys. They play fast, they play physical, they're sound, do a really good job.
Now, people are paying almost no attention to Buffalo, but here's a number. They're one of just 3 teams allowing fewer than 4.8 yards per play this season. The other 2, you see them on the screen, are a combined 20-2 this year. Buffalo is also behind only those 2 teams in terms of first downs allowed per game, and they played New England very close earlier in this season. Not that there are moral victories in this sport, but for whatever that is worth. So we talked about it with Dan Orlovsky briefly. Let me give you the floor on this. You look at what this Buffalo team does. It feels to me like this is a tough matchup for Dallas.
No, this is an extremely tough matchup. This is the team that matches up defensively against this Dallas Cowboys offense in great fashion. They're very good up front. They rotate different defensive linemen in, but also on the back end, you have a guy in Tre'Davious White that you can match up with Amari Cooper, much like the New England Patriots did with Stephon Gilmore. And if you look offensively, this team can run the football. They're physical. They have a two-headed running back attack and also a quarterback that can make plays with his legs. And so this team coming in with the confidence that they have, but also with something to prove. The Buffalo Bills know that they're overlooked, and overlooked for many of the reasons that we heard Dan mention about them not being able to beat good teams. They're in the same boat as the Dallas Cowboys. This is going to be a proven game on national TV for this team, and I believe they show up and make this tough.
They're also overlooked because they don't have flashy quarterback play. That's the reality of it. Right? That's what gets you attention in the NFL, flashy offense, and they don't have that.
He can be pretty flashy. I mean, if people haven't watched Josh Allen, he can throw the ball a mile and he can run. He's a little bit like, and I've talked to their GM, Brandon Beane, who was in Carolina when Cam Newton came into the league, a little bit like how they used Cam at the beginning of his career because he's got the great size and he's such a good runner. So, yeah, people will get a look at Buffalo, but, I mean, they haven't beaten anybody either. That's the thing. I mean, they played New England tough. The Cowboys played New England tough. I mean, neither one beat them. Their best win is Tennessee. So that's the only win they have over
was the quarterback
winning record. And, that was before Tennessee changed quarterbacks. So it's critical for both. Buffalo's going to make the playoffs. I mean, at this point, they're the way the standings shake out, they look good. But this will be a way to sort of stamp their legitimacy.
As ridiculous as it may sound, the Patriots play a tough game Sunday night at Houston. That's not an easy win by any means. Should the Patriots lose and the Bills win tomorrow, there will only be one game of separation between those 2 teams in the AFC East, and they play each other again. Now, I don't think I'm thinking that way, and I don't think most people are thinking that way. But if you're the Bills, you're definitely thinking that way.
If you're the Bills, this is the way you're coaching football. This is the way you're approaching each week, is that you have a chance to win the AFC East. And That's not something we thought would even be a possibility coming into this season. And so this team has vastly improved, and they have an opportunity on Thursday to put themselves in even better position.
That said, I can't get my mind to a place where the Cowboys lose this game tomorrow, because then everything just completely falls apart. I believe they will win.
You want to get your mind to a place where they do, though, because that would be a great Friday morning.
It would be a great show Friday, but I think it would be pretty much the end of them. Do you expect them to win tomorrow?
I do expect them to win. I think they'll be prepared to play. I think Jason Garrett, to his credit, can focus under Jerry Jones' scrutiny, and this team finds a way to win at home.
And they're used to Thanksgiving. I mean, they know how to do this week because they have it every single week. That matters, and their record on Thanksgiving, I believe, shows that.
All right, Hembo's going to get us those numbers as we continue. Meanwhile, it was a very big week for some of the best teams in the NFL last week, beginning with those Patriots. They moved to 10-1 with that win over Dallas at home. The defense dominant again, holding the Cowboys to just 9 points. Speaking of defense, the 49ers also moving to 10-1 after crushing the Packers on Sunday night. Back-to-back road games against the Ravens and Saints are next for San Francisco, so they'll get to prove it if they are it. And speaking of the Ravens, they blew out the Rams, as we all saw on Monday Night Football, their 7th straight win. Their average of margin of victory over those games has been over 21 points a game, and this just came in. Lamar Jackson, for the 4th time this season, has been named the AFC Player of the Week. You see the numbers on that screen. He's only one behind the record held by Newton and Brady over the course of time. So Lamar's having that kind of season. But here's what we have not done in a long time. We have not done Ryan Clark's power rankings, because last year it was just the Rams, the Rams, the Rams, the Rams, and the Rams.
Because they were the 5 best rappers.
I got you. But this year, I'm really interested to hear top 5 teams in the NFL in your opinion right now. Let's go.
Starting at number 5, I'm going to go with the Seattle Seahawks. This team is 9-2, and if you're not paying attention, they're going to have an opportunity to get the playoffs, to come through Seattle and that 12th man. Russell Wilson has been amazing this year. I think if it wasn't for Lamar Jackson, this guy would be squarely at the head of the MVP race. And also, the defense has picked up. If you've watched them the last 2 weeks, or the last 2 games against San Francisco and Philadelphia, they've made plays to help Russell Wilson and this offense win. And with the way that they're trending and the opportunities that they have going forward, a Week 17 matchup between them and the San Francisco 49ers could decide the winner of the NFC West and maybe number 1 position in the playoffs. At number 4, we're going to go to the Patriots.
Wow.
And the reason I'm going to the Patriots is I know they're 10-1, and people and everybody in New England and Boston, and when I land at Hartford Springfield next week, are going to be like, well, how you put Tommy there? Well, here's why. Because of Tommy. It's because of the offense. They are great defensively. They have shown that they can hold people down and absolutely choke you out. But the problem is they need to choke everyone out. And this started in the Super Bowl last year. They only give up 3 points to the Rams and still struggle to score. Tom Brady has to figure out a way to help his weapons. You have to be able to protect him, and they need to be able to run. I know that they're 10-1, but it's not the 10-1 that we're used to for this team. And then at number 3, we're going to go with the New Orleans Saints. And here's why I go with the Saints here. Michael Thomas. Michael Thomas is the single best non-quarterback in the league this year. He's what we've seen Aaron Donald be for many years in Los Angeles. This dude cannot be stopped. If you're the Philadelphia Eagles, I would take every single healthy wide receiver and trade them for Michael Thomas, and we would be better with one dude on our team. To me, this team was number 1 for a long period of time this year. It's because I expected them to ascend offensively once they got Drew Brees back. We really haven't seen that. We haven't seen this team take that extra step. And for that, they're number 3. At number 2, we're going with the San Francisco 49ers. And I know it was probably some talk. Will this be the number 1 team? They've only lost 1 game. It was to Seattle and some magician type stuff by Russell Wilson. But no, they're number 2, and they are pushing for number 1. Great defensively. Kyle Shanahan right now is the coach of the year. The way that he's diagramming plays, the way that he's calling plays is very reminiscent of what Sean McVay was the first 2 years in Los Angeles. This team is stacked, but we're going to find out more about them going into the future. I believe that they have an opportunity to host playoff games, and if they come through the Bay, we could see them in the Super Bowl. And if they're there, it's going to be a rematch of a Super Bowl we saw in New Orleans, because the best team, and it's not even close right now, is the Baltimore Ravens. If it was the Rams, I'd be spinning around, jumping on top of these stairs, and cutting the complete fool, because they went and destroyed the Rams. They destroyed the Houston Texans. They beat the New England Patriots like they stole something. And knowing them, they may actually steal it. This man, Lamar Jackson, is doing things that we've never seen in this league. He is toying with people's oldest sons, and that is not what you do in the NFL. This is the best player in the league by far. What we watched him do on Monday night was absolutely magical, and the way that this defense has played since acquiring Marcus Peters has been something like we've never seen with 4 number 1 corners on this squad. To see these two play in the Super Bowl would be fun. But the thing is, we get to see it next week. So this list could change, but right now, the Baltimore Ravens are in a class all of their own.
I have no argument with almost anything you have here, except that I would say John Harbaugh is my coach of the year right now, based on what they're doing with the Ravens and the fact that, again, 28 teams, including the Ravens, passed on Lamar Jackson in the first round the year he came out of the draft. That's the list. Let's hear your opinion as we go. Meanwhile, coming up here on Get Up, Baker Mayfield and the Browns have finally found their groove. Why Cleveland may come all the way back and steal